Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector, and today I wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you about some games that we've played recently. And they're games that not only have we played them, but they are so good that we're going to keep them in our library. So I want to tell you about them, and hopefully you can find them interesting as I did. But the first game I'm going to talk about today is a game that I just did an unboxing for and did that video if you saw that, and that is Monasterium. Now, Monasterium was initially released in 2020, and we had one of the original copies of Monasterium, but it had a little bit of a problem in that the novices that you had on your player board were easily bumped and moved. So they went back to the drawing board and did a Kickstarter campaign to get this game republished, and we backed it. And I'm glad we did, because the republishing was fantastic. You have dual layer player boards now where your novices are laying in channels on your board. They're not so easy to bump and move, and that's very important. And they did a wonderful job with this game in the publishing of it. And I just want to tell you about it. I've played this game 10 times. And it's an outstanding game. It packs a wallop, let me tell you, for a small Euro game. And inside this box, it's a dice drafting game, and in this dice drafting game, in a two-player game, you're going to have 5 white dice, and you'll have 1 die of your own color. So you're going to roll those dice and place them on the board in the areas of the values that are printed on the board, much like Grand Austria Hotel. The only difference is, in this game, you can only grab 3 of the dice out of any one of those sections. So if there's 5 5s somehow get put into the 5 area, you can only take 3 of those on your turn. In addition, your player color die that you have, once you roll it and decide on the value you want for it, you put that in a section on the board. No one can touch that die but you. So you, in a sense, are able to reserve an action that you wanted by putting your die in that particular area on the main board. For instance, number 1 is a build. So if you need to do a build action on your turn and you don't want that to be robbed by another player, then putting your die in that number 1 area is the only way to ensure you're going to be able to take that action. Of course, you have to roll a 1 while you're rolling. And when you're rolling those dice, you have a window in your play area that has a reroll on it. You can use that once per round. So that's not much mitigation, but you might want to think about that when you're rolling. But you roll those dice and then you have to take them. Let's say you pick the number 2. So you're going to have to take all the 2s. If you rolled 3 2s, all 3 of those 2s will have to go on the main board. Or you'll have to pick them back up and roll them again. You have to make that decision. So it's very interesting to do that, because you want to kind of do as many different actions or have as many different actions available as possible. So if you're going to roll your dice and you have 4 3s, you have to ask yourself, maybe that action 3 you want to do 4 times, but you can't. You're only going to be able to draft 3 of those dice. But if you roll 4 3s, all 4 of those are going to have to go into that area on the board. You can't just pick 2 or 3 of them and put them in there. And that's pretty interesting. And it's interesting to be able to reserve those actions with your color dice if you roll that number. And then on the board also, you're able to get 2 more dice of your color should you be able to travel the main path that goes through the center of the board to the end twice. You can get those dice. But that is so cool. I love dice drafting games. I love dice in my Euro games, first of all, and I love dice drafting like Grand Austria Hotel, and Monasterium has that same feel to it. In this game, you have, I think, 20 novices on your player board, and each one of those die values you're going to draft has this action associated with it that's on a church window in your play area. Now, underneath that particular action are going to be 4 novices, and those 4 novices are going to unlock a separate action, a different benefit, if you place that novice on the main board. So once you unlock a bunch of those, you're going to have more things you can do for your dice values that you're going to be able to put in your play area. And there's so many different paths you can take to this. once you start taking those novices and placing them on the main board off your play area, and you have to do a build action to do that and pay resources to get that done. And you're not going to be able to place all of those novices, all 20 of those. You can't do it. It's just not enough time in the game to get all that done. You'll have to pick, and you're going to have to pick which ones are important to you in order to pursue a path of strategy that you've decided on. And that's where this game really packs a punch, because there's so many different things you can do in the game. And in addition to all those different benefits for those novices and the different things that those are going to afford you, there's going to be mission cards also to weave into that mix that you're going to be thinking about as you play the game. Wow, I was impressed. I was impressed the first time I played this game, and now that I have it back in my library with this new deluxe edition, it's fantastic. I want to talk to you a little bit about, there have been some people talking about they couldn't get their game back in the box in the way that they wanted to, and I think if you do it properly, you can make it happen. We were able to get everything in our player, because you get these little trays now, and they have everything you need to play the game in this tray. So we have all 5 of our neutral dice, our 3-player dice. We have our messenger in here, which is your cart and donkey that's going to go along the path of the board. The 2 pieces of resources that you're going to need to start the game. All 20 of your novices, your 100-point token, and a portrait that you start the game with, or an influence token. I call them portraits, but they're influence token. And they all fit in there very nicely. And once you do that, then everything else fits in this game box rather nicely. And I think some people were having problems with that, and it isn't a problem. Excuse me, I want to talk about something else also. On your play area, in your double layer player board, you have these church windows that are going to go in there, and they have a little place for your thumb to fit in there and pick that token up. So these are they're going to be tokens in those shapes in those areas. And some people were complaining they couldn't get those back out without lifting the board. I have a play mat on top of my table here where we play board games, and it's a little bit, it's got a cushion to it, and if you push the top of that token, the bottom will come up and you can then grab that and remove it. If you don't, and you're playing on a hard surface and that doesn't work, your 100-point token or any of the tokens, the resource tokens that you use in the game, you can slip it into that thumb slot underneath there and poke that church window out. Because you need to do that, because you can flip those over once you do a build of the bottom row, which is placing in the chapel. And then every time you do that action after that, not only do you get the action on the window, but you get a point. And it reminds you on that window, so you need to flip those over. But that's the way you can get those out of there if you need to. So all the things that I saw that people were having concerns with, that I think was easily solved by doing that. But wow, they did a nice job with the publishing of this game, and there's the token trays that you can lay out. We can have this game up and running in 2 minutes. I love that they did such a great job with this game, and everything, like I say, fits in here wonderfully, and we're so happy to have this game. It is a smaller board, it's a smaller Euro game, and wow, does it have some depth to it. I just wanted to tell you about it. I think there was only maybe 200 people that backed this on Kickstarter. Wow, I mean, this game is just amazing. You know, it does have a color scheme of a, I hate to use the word, but it's a dry Euro. It has a lot of greens and beiges in there. I like this emerald green and the gold inlay they did on this sleeve, and I wish they had worked this emerald green and the gold inlay onto that main board. That would have really made this game pop as far as visually. But still, even without that, a nice job in the publishing of this deluxe edition, and the game is phenomenal. Again, packs a big punch for such a small Euro game. Laura and I loved it, and I'm glad to have it back in my library. That's Monasterium from R.D. Fuller from 2020. The next game we picked up was a game called Dungeon Legends. Now, Dungeon Legends is from 2024, and it's by the same author that did Chronicles of Avel. And I don't know who, let's see, and I don't know if I can actually pronounce this name. Przemek Wojciechowski. There you go. I did the best I could, Przemek. But I can't say the name. But we love Chronicles of Avel. Chronicles of Avel is a light tower defense boss battler RPG game. It's light, so you could play it with your kids and have fun with your kids. And I just love everything about Chronicles of Avel. I mean, it's so much fun to play. It's going to be my top 100 this year. I enjoy it immensely, everything about it. But when I saw that guy was doing another game, I immediately got curious about it and started watching it on YouTube. And I watched it played so many times, and finally I said, you know what, I want to get that. And we got on our phones, and we have the Haven Game Store here in Castleberry where we live, and we went up and he had a copy of this and I picked it up from there. And so if you're in Central Florida and you are here in Orlando ever, stop at the Haven in Castleberry, a wonderful game store. And so I bought this game from Matt up there. The publishing of this game is fabulous, and I love the color palette of this box, don't you? That looks outstanding. And it comes with a neoprene game mat that has the same color palette, and everything in the game is just beautiful. As a matter of fact, it's just fun looking at this game while you're playing it. And that means something, doesn't it? But in this game, it's a card game, and you're simply going to have a neoprene playmat in front of you, and on that playmat you're going to be a character, and this comes with cardboard standees in full color. Thank you very much. No black and white miniatures. And in this game you're going to move along a path, and on the bottom of the path are going to be 6 action cards, and on the top of the path is going to be an array of monsters that are going to keep coming out, and they're trying to get into the castle. So once they're in the castle, if they get into the castle, you're going to lose the game. So you're trying to defend that tower, defend just like a tower defense, and you're going to be doing the battle of that row of monsters that are coming across the top of that neoprene mat. You're going to be a character. You have a deck of cards that go with your character, and you're going to play those cards. You're going to play all the cards you have. You can have up to 12 cards in your hand, and it has a cool mechanic in it where you can discard 3 of those cards to get some dust, which is the resource economy in this game. That is what you're going to use to spend, and you can have up to 6 dust, I think, on your character sheet, and you're going to spend those and get them back, you know, all during the game. Spend them and get them back, spend them and get them back, but you're going to need those to do things in the game. So you're going to have to, again, you have a very limited amount of them, so it's very delicate balancing act there. But that card mechanic where you can discard 3 of them to get a dust is wonderful. As a matter of fact, you can discard 3 of those to do several actions, and it says that on your player sheet. So that's pretty cool. It's got a little bit of a deck building element, so you're able to acquire some special upgrade cards that are going to be available on the board, and those upgrade cards are all foil cards that just look magnificent. I mean, it just makes this game pop, and I just love that. Everything in this game, as far as the art is concerned, I adore. I just love the art in this game. It's just very immersive. It's a cooperative game. There's another reason why we like it. Monasterium, by the way, was a competitive game. This is cooperative, and it's just right up our alley. So you're going to defend the castle. It says defend the castle's underground entrance against a horde of monsters. You're going to use the power of fairies and magical dust, and it's just so much fun. A wonderful publishing job, and it has 5-chapter campaign, and it's all in tuck boxes. And I don't know if I ever showed this to you guys on the channel here, but when you take the lid off, you got your rule book here, and your book of chapters, and then everything is in these tuck boxes. You take once I take the player sheets off of here, you can see, there we go. There's the chapters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then your player character boxes. Just so cool the way they did this. Your neoprene mat goes right there. Love this game, you guys. I can't say enough about it. Lori and I just immediately fell in love with it. And these are your character sheets. This is your health tracker. You got a little wooden heart that goes on there. And then you have a cutout right here on this dual layer player board, and you have a variety of action tokens that you can lay in there, and it gives you 3 actions that are one-time use. And you put cube, and you're going to track those. They're one-time use during the game. So you want to make sure that you are desperate when you start using those. But that's a cool little mechanic also. I just love the game. And it's called Dungeon Legends, and I wanted to tell you about it today. And there's the top of the pretty inside the box there. That's pretty cool. Just awesome. And I can't wait to play my way through all the chapters and all the tuck boxes in this game. But it's in the Avel universe. If you have played Chronicles of Avel, it's in that universe. And just a fun, cooperative game. And that is Dungeon Legends. So, by Rebel Studio. And the last game I want to talk about, I wanted to make this video kind of quick today to tell you about this, is another cooperative game called Freedom 5. Another 2024 title from Arcane Wonders. And Freedom 5 takes place in the Sentinel Comics universe. Now, if you're familiar with Sentinel Comics, maybe from Sentinels of the Multiverse was the name of the game. Came out quite a few years ago. We have played that game also. There was something about that game I did not like, though. You had to have a minimum of 3 characters in the game. I'm talking about Sentinels of the Multiverse. It was a minimum 3 characters you had to play that game. Now, on the box it listed two players, and it just, if you play 2 players in Sentinels of the Multiverse, you either have to play 2 characters each, or you have to play 3 characters with taking turns on the 3rd character or something like that. I just don't like that. It wasn't balanced for 2 players, and it shouldn't, should never list that on the box. But this is the same universe, same superheroes that are in this box, and it is a game where I only have to play 1 character. Every player in the game only has to play 1 character. It's a cooperative game. It's got some cool mechanics in it. Henchmen that are going to populate the board. If you get more than 3 in a city, it's going to populate adjacent areas with more henchmen, just like Pandemic, which is what this came from, that particular mechanic. And it has decks of cards that are also going to drive this game. Your characters, you're going to have a deck of cards that are specific to your character, and those cards you'll play on your turn, and you'll have various actions that you can take on your turn, those listed on your character board. Everything in this game is published very nicely, and I really enjoy the custom dice in this game, because whatever color henchmen are in those cities, you're going to have to roll those color of dice to dispose of them. Not to mention, if you're battling a villain, you're going to have to use certain colors of dice to battle certain villains. So a very cool mechanic there. Lori and I love cooperative board games, so we seek them out, because I wanted to say there's a lot of people that don't like cooperative games. And to them and to everyone, I want to tell you this. In our gaming lives, the most memorable moments we've ever had playing board games has been when you win a cooperative game by the skin of your teeth with a group of friends. There's nothing like it. And we have won on our last turn in cooperative games quite a few times, and I can remember every one of them. Most recently, we played a game of Horrified, and we won on our last turn, and we talked about it the rest of the day. It was so electrifying because we thought we had lost, and that can only happen in a cooperative game. We thought we had lost the game, we won by some miracle. It was luck. Pure luck, and I'll talk about it when we do our Ultimate Top 100, but we won on our last turn. Just incredible experience. I'm glad it wasn't late at night, because I would have been able to go to sleep. We were so excited, and we talked about it not only the rest of that day, but we've been talking about it ever since. And that's happened to us when we played Pandemic Iberia, and when we played Pandemic, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, where you've just won by the skin of your teeth, and you're mind melding together and trying to beat a game when it's the odds are stacked against you, and that's why we love cooperative games so much. This is a good one. I'm not too much of a superhero fan. We have no Marvel games in our library because I really just am marveled out. And you're talking to somebody that grew up in the 60s. I love Marvel Comics, DC Comics when I was growing up, but they've saturated the market with them, especially Marvel, and it just, it's just like sugar. It tastes really good in small amounts, but if you eat a whole 5-pound bag of it, you start throwing up, and that's what's happening with Marvel in the board gaming world. So I just shied away from it. These guys, again, I was only exposed to them in Sentinels of the Multiverse game, and now that they're in this Freedom 5, I'm okay with that. It's got a big map in the box. Hey, I can show you the back of the box here. It's got a pretty big map, and it's going to have a board on the bottom that's going to hold all your decks of cards and some tokens that anarchy tokens and mastermind tokens that are going to populate the board at various times that you're going to have to deal with. But I'm pretty impressed with it. Now, this particular copy is a retail edition. I got it from the Haven for $53, I think. I had Matt order it for me. The guy that runs the Haven. There is a miniatures edition of this. In this game, you have colored cardboard standees, which are very nice. And this box is just a regular size game box. Super nice publishing job, though. Now, there is a Kickstarter version that's in a box about 6 times bigger than this. As a matter of fact, the box is bigger than the Foundations of Rome. And it's a huge box, so I didn't want anything to do with that. But to their credit, I don't know if it was a special order or what, but you could get all the miniatures in that great big box that they have painted. So that was pretty nice. I was glad to see the publisher at least offered that, because there's nothing worse than black and white miniatures in a game box. It just hurts gameplay. But yeah, so we wanted the small box, and there's a lot in here, you guys. And there's special envelopes in here that once you play through the campaign, it's going to unlock some stuff. And it's not a huge campaign, or I wouldn't have bought it. But I think it's in a comic book situation where you're going to play through different chapters in each scenario, and unlock some new things at the end of that scenario. I think it's 5 different scenarios in this box, and that's pretty nice. And we had a fun time playing this so far, and because we have such an affinity, such an affection for cooperative board games, we're going to keep this and Dungeon Legends, and we're going to keep Monasterium. It's a competitive Euro game, and it's fantastic. I want to tell you about all 3 of those games today, so that if you are curious about them, maybe it gave you a little bit of an idea about how these 3 games play. And if you get the chance to go to your local game store, or if you get a chance to go to a convention, you'll seek them out, check them out at the library at your convention, and play them, and maybe you'll find that you like them as much as I do. But I love all 3 of these games, and I was able to seek them out just by, again, we peruse YouTube like you do and look for new games and gaming experiences. We bought all of those games, those 3 games you see here today. We pay for all the games you see on our videos. We get no games from publishers. We don't have a Patreon account where we ask people for money to fund us. We don't do any of that. Everything that you see on our channel is funded by us personally. We get nothing from the board gaming industry. And I know Tom Vassell did a video not that long ago where he said every channel gets something from the board gaming industry. We do not. We don't even monetize this channel on YouTube. We get nothing. We're just doing this, and I'm probably going to discontinue this channel. I said I would stop when I was 70 years old. I'm going to be 70 in November. And I'm still thinking about that. But we love doing it. We love sharing our passion for board games, but we want to do it on a level that's with the people that watch. And most of you have to buy your board games. So that's important for us to feel like you, to go about acquiring games the way you have to do it. And it just makes for a better connection between us and to you. And we want to make sure that when we do get games, when we have games that we are confident that you guys can play, the people that watch this channel, then we put them on the channel. We are very careful. You know, we watch YouTube videos. Like I say, I must have watched a guy play through Dungeon Legends 5 times before I was confident that I could go out and pick that game up and that I was going to like it. And I've done that before and brought a game home and it just didn't live up to it. So I can make mistakes, but we try not to do that because it's expensive for us. So I try to help you guys. Hopefully this helps you guys not waste your money so that you can go out and get a game that's going to be good and fun for you to play. And I guess I got a little bit long-winded about that, but I always feel like I want to make that clear to you guys that we fund everything here with our own money. So hey, that's it for today's video. We love every one of you. Please keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. Please comment. Please give us a like on the video. It helps us out tremendously because it moves our video up in the when YouTube is suggesting videos for board games, it moves ours up. So please give us a thumbs up. Please comment if you have any questions about these games. I paid $53 for Freedom 5, $54 for Dungeon Legends, and Monasterium was probably $100.
I think it was, yeah, something something like that, 90 plus shipping.
Yeah, $90 plus shipping, the deluxe edition of Monasterium, because we backed that on Kickstarter or whatever.
We had to pay the extra.
And it costs a little extra when you do that. But yeah, that's what I paid for those games, guys. That's what you can expect to pay for. Your Monasterium you can probably pick up a lot cheaper, maybe, I don't know.
If you can find another copy.
But Dungeon Legends and Freedom 5 Retail Edition probably cost you around the $50 mark. And hopefully they go on sale and you find them and get them cheaper than I did. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'll see you the next time on the Bones Collector. I love every one of you, and pretty soon we're going to start our Ultimate Top 100. We'll see how that goes here real quick. Bye-bye.